The twin sons of Drydus cast long shadows across the parched landscape as Valeria Aquila stepped out of the Drydus dropship. The hot, dry air immediately assaulted her senses, a stark contrast to the lush greenery of her homeworld. She adjusted the environmental controls on her sleek, form-fitting exosuit, a marvel of Drydus engineering designed to protect against the harsh desert climate. "Team, assemble," Valeria called out, her voice calm and authoritative. As the leader of this humanitarian mission, she knew the weight of responsibility that rested on her shoulders. The success or failure of their efforts here could shape the future relationship between Drydus and the Drydus Confederation. As her team of 12 specialists gathered around her, Valeria took a moment to survey their surroundings. The settlement of New Haven sprawled before them, a hodgepodge of domed structures and improvised shelters. In the distance, the glittering remains of the meteor shower that had devastated the region were still visible, a reminder of the destructive power of the cosmos. "Remember," Valeria addressed her team, "we're here to help, but also to represent the best of Drydus. Our actions here will speak louder than any diplomatic overture." With a nod, she led her team towards the settlement. As they approached, Valeria could see the toll the water shortage had taken on the people of New Haven. Gaunt faces peered out from the shadows of buildings, eyes hollow with thirst and desperation. A small delegation emerged to greet them, led by an older man with weather-beaten features. "I am Elder Caius," he said, his voice gravelly. "We appreciate your coming, though I must admit, we're surprised the mighty Drydus Confederation would concern itself with our plight." Valeria stepped forward, removing her helmet to meet the elder's gaze directly. "Elder Caius, I am Valeria Aquila. The Drydus Confederation believes in the unity of all humanity, regardless of political boundaries. We're here to help, no strings attached." As she spoke, Valeria could see a flicker of hope in the elder's eyes, quickly masked by practiced skepticism. She knew winning the trust of these people would be as challenging as the technical aspects of their mission. Over the next few days, Valeria and her team worked tirelessly. They deployed advanced water purification units, capable of extracting moisture from the very air itself. Drydus agri-engineers began work on hydroponic systems that would allow the people of New Haven to grow food with minimal water usage. The breakthrough came on the 5th day. As the first drops of clean, pure water flowed from the newly installed distribution system, a cheer went up from the gathered crowd. Valeria watched as children laughed and played in the spray, their joy a stark contrast to the desperation of just days before. Elder Caius approached her, emotion evident in his voice. "You've given us more than water, Valeria of Drydus. You've given us hope." As the sun set on New Haven, casting the domes in a golden light, Valeria allowed herself a moment of pride. They had overcome the immediate crisis, but she knew their work was far from over. The seeds of trust had been planted, and with care, they could blossom into something greater. Valeria looked out over the transformed settlement, her mind already turning to the next phase of their mission. The Drydus Confederation had shown its benevolence, but the true test would be in the days to come. As she watched the people of New Haven celebrate their newfound abundance, Valeria couldn't help but wonder about the future that lay ahead for this world, and its place in the grand tapestry of the Drydus dream. With renewed determination, she turned back to her team. There was still much to be done, and the oasis of hope they had created was just the beginning. As the days stretched into weeks, Valeria and her team continued their work in New Haven, expanding their efforts beyond the initial water crisis. The settlement had begun to flourish under their care, with new greenhouses sprouting up and the hum of Drydus technology becoming a familiar sound in the once quiet desert. It was during a routine inspection of one of the hydroponic farms that Valeria first encountered Cassius. The young boy, no more than 12 standard years old, was intently studying the control panel of a moisture reclamation unit, his fingers dancing over the holographic interface with surprising dexterity. "Impressive," Valeria said, startling the boy. "Most adults struggle with that system." Cassius looked up, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. I'm sorry. I was just curious about how it worked." Valeria smiled, kneeling down to his level. "Curiosity is the first step to understanding. What's your name?" "Cassius," he replied, gaining confidence. "Are you really from Drydus?" I've heard stories about your world, about cities that touch the sky and ships that can cross the galaxy. Over the next few days, Valeria found herself spending more time with Cassius, marveling at his quick mind and insatiable appetite for knowledge. She began to teach him about Drydus technology, history, and culture, watching as the boy absorbed information like a sponge in water. One evening, as they sat watching the twin suns set, Cassius turned to her with a serious expression. "Valeria, do you think I could ever see Drydus?" The question gave Valeria pause. She realized that in Cassius she saw the potential for something greater, not just for the boy, but for Drydus and Drydus alike. That night, she composed a message to her superiors back on Drydus. "I request additional resources for an educational initiative on Drydus," she wrote. "There is untapped potential here that could greatly benefit the Confederation." As she waited for a response, Valeria continued her work, but now with a dual purpose. She organized classes for the children of New Haven, teaching them not just about technology, but about the history and ideals of Drydus. She spoke of the Confederation's vision of a united humanity, of the opportunities that awaited those who joined their cause. The response from Drydus came swifter than she had expected. Not only were educational materials approved, but a full scholarship program was established, with promising students like Cassius given the opportunity to study on Drydus itself. As their mission on Drydus drew to a close, Valeria stood before the people of New Haven, no longer strangers but friends. "We came here to offer aid," she said, her voice carrying across the gathered crowd. "But you have given us something in return, hope for a shared future." Elder Caius stepped forward, his face solemn. "The people of New Haven of Drydus will not forget what Drydus has done for us. Perhaps it is time we discussed a more formal relationship with your Confederation." Valeria nodded, feeling a sense of accomplishment tinged with a hint of guilt. She had come to genuinely care for these people, yet she couldn't deny the political implications of their mission's success. As she boarded the dropship for departure, Cassius ran up to her, clutching a data pad filled with Drydus history. "I'll study hard," he promised. "One day, I'll make both Drydus and Drydus proud." Valeria smiled, seeing in the boy's eyes the future she had helped to shape. As the ship lifted off, she received a new set of orders, another world, another mission. But she knew that here on Drydus, in this small corner of the galaxy, the seeds of empire had been sown. The dropship accelerated into the atmosphere, leaving behind a transformed world. Valeria gazed out at the stars, pondering the complex interplay of compassion and ambition that drove the expansion of Drydus. She had brought hope to Drydus, but in doing so, had she also brought the first tendrils of imperial control? As the ship entered hyperspace, Valeria pushed these thoughts aside. There would be time for reflection later. For now, there were more worlds waiting, more people in need of aid, and more opportunities to expand the reach of the Drydus Confederation, one act of kindness at a time. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and leave it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.